Hello, everyone. Super excited today. I'm just going to wait a few seconds before I see someone hop on. Okay, quickly. Okay, so, okay, we have at least one person who signed up. That's perfect. Now people will start hopping on. So, hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Absolutely amazing Saturday today. We are on day 4 for our expert series today, and we have the gorgeous Andrea Olivera. I'm super excited because she's a very dear friend. She is an Ayurvedic practitioner. She's an Ayurvedic spa specialist. She's also my personal Jyotish, and she is somebody who beautifully blends the three sister sciences of Ayurveda, Yoga, Jyotish, the philosophy of it, and she is absolutely amazing, amazing. And I had the good opportunity of hosting her one evening for I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and then I saw her glowing skin and I was like, okay, we have to have her tell us her secrets. We have to we have to know because she's even more person. So welcome, Andrea. It's so amazing to have you here. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great on this beautiful rainy day with the moon and Mars right over my head because I'm a Pisces ascendant. So in Indian astrology, the two intense planets are right over our head for the Piscean energy. And so it's in a nakshatra called Uttara Bhadrapada, which is brings up a fierceness. And, it's one of those days where we've got to shed and cleanse. And we've got a lot of turbulence in the sky right now with the Mercury retrograde with Rahu and the Sun, and so there's been a lot of technical difficulties and a lot of communication issues with people. So it's one of those intense weekends. So hang in there. And this is a great weekend to do some self care. And I'm so happy to share with you some of these ancient anti aging Ayurveda skincare treatment.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, hello, Ushaji. Hello, Uttamji. Hi, Hera. Nice to see you. So, if you're watching this live, you can say a quick hi and you can definitely, ask any of your questions here. Somebody is saying that we are both looking fabulous. Thank you so much. I can't see the usernames here. I'll get to know once I go back in the group. I'm using another platform. So, thank you once again. So, let's get started. So, Andrea, the main question I have for you is, we see premature aging of, in people, which is very common nowadays. My own hair started graying suddenly, and suddenly, I see a lot of people who are way younger than me also develop like crow's feet, or they just start feeling tired, the skin feels sagging. So what are some causes of premature aging? Is there something that we are doing to bring it on to ourselves?
Absolutely. Overthinking, unprocessed emotions, our repetitive thoughts, our worries, our anxieties, all of that manifests on the face. The face is the mirror of everything that's happening in our lives. And so, the forehead is the vata zone. So, for people that are more vata, windy, and thinking, their predominant emotions are anxieties, restlessness, worries. And so, they tend to have very strong lines that go across the forehead, and so the pitta zone is more the right in the center of the brow, all the way down like a triangle to the upper lip. And so this zone here is where most pittas have rosacea, pimples, or some kind of broken blood vessels, and then a lot of sores, cold sores, or different types of very strong lines and wrinkles in these areas because of frowning and intensity, and a lot of food sensitivities. I'm sure with you being a nutritionist, you see that people with more pitta constitution, they have a lot of redness in this area due to food allergies as well. And then the kapha zone is sort of like this part, the cheek and part of the jaw, and the pitta sometimes because of hormones also breaks out around the jaw. So stress, diet, lifestyle are all, and the way we process or don't process our emotions and our thoughts will always manifest in the different vata pitta kapha zones of the space.
It's amazing you say that because personally, for my own self, what I have noticed is anytime my body gets stressed, I start developing red patches right here in the center
Yeah,
of the brow.
right in that brown pitta zone, right?
Yeah.
Because we have the a reflex of the liver and the spleen right in there, and
Mhm.
so all the solar plexus, which is all the metabolism and all the organs that process our foods, and the agni, when it starts to increase wrongly going upward, it will cause that. And the other thing that it causes is for pitta constitution, it causes hair loss and early gray and a lot of oiliness in the scalp, because as you know, udana prana or vata goes upward, pushing fire up, and then that causes a lot of the breakouts. So sometimes, believe it or not, certain yoga practices for a pitta constitution can increase skin breakouts, like going to a hot yoga room, or doing too many inversions, or doing too many repetitive or strong heated practices like ashtanga. So that will increase a lot of the breakouts in the skin and bring things out, because they're pittas tend to over purify, over cleanse their skin because of the natural oil. So the face or the skin develops a defense mechanism and it produces more oil, and then you break out more. So sometimes less is more for those sensitive types of skin that react so quickly.
Mhm. So how do we prevent this aging? So that's the one main question, because as soon as I hit my 35, I could see my skin changing. I never had to moisturize even in the winter time, and now here, I'm moisturizing. I'm taking better care of my skin. So most people here, that's one of the common questions I get is how do we, take care of ourselves? How do we prevent this aging, of our skins, or also graying of the hair? So how do you prevent that?
Wow. Step one is know yourself, know your body mind type. And second thing is see how do you relate or digest to your environment. So you're under this beautiful glowing sun, we can see it shining on your face. Well, certain understanding is that the sun ages us, okay? And so we are in the summer season. And so what happens is pittas usually wear a hat, they wear sunglasses, they wear a lot of sunblock, right? Because their skin is so sensitive, and the sun rays can create a lot of aging. The vata skin usually is the one that tans the fastest, and so they love the sunlight, and they can they can tan, they can be outdoors without any protection for a while. But what happens is they get the age spots, and then they get a lot of the deep seated lines because of the sun damage. And kaphas, I tend to see, because kaphas is the oily T zone and dry or dehydrated sides, which is a normal to combination skin type. And so in the summertime, the kapha person reacts more like a pitta skin type with the oiliness and the breakouts. But in the fall and winter, their skin can be very dehydrated and needs a lot more exfoliation and hydration. So the key things to preventing is know your body type, know your constitution, know what foods you are able to digest so that you can prevent breakouts, know what foods are rejuvenating, because we can't stop the aging process. We're constantly dying. Our skin cells are always dying, and we're in the beauty industry. We don't say dead skin cells. We say spent up skin cells. They're spent up. So now we need to preserve, preserve, preserve. And so the way you preserve is daily massage, stress reduction, self care rituals, proper nutrition, and positive thinking, and making sure you're able to digest your emotions and digest those harmful, shocking life experiences that age. And women, we have such a high tolerance that we are in a stressful situation, and we're in it, we work hard, we do this for a year, and then it's only a year after a certain situation that occurs that we start to see, oh my god, I've aged.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when you're in the wind, the windiness of a life challenge or a situation or a very hard project that you're working on, or something creative even that you're putting a lot of your prana into, you don't notice the aging manifestation for about a year to 6 months. And so one of the key things is, having a very good, I don't know if you can see a little bit of my product line in the back,
Yes, I can.
but, I make these organic natural skin lines. But in Ayurveda, we know that certain skin types need certain herbs and they need specific oils. And the knowledge first of what are the best oils for your skin type, what are the best herbs for your skin type, and then how to apply it and find the proper dinacharya or ritualistic routine. The application is very important. So vatas, for example, even though their skin is thicker and it's more leathery and it's drier and it's more dull, they tend to do a lot more invigorating massages to stimulate that. But sometimes that can actually start to increase the tiny lines because when the skin is very dehydrated, it tends to crack. So one of the things that Vata constitutions need is a lot more hydration. And that means hydrating their face. It's not just about putting oil, oil, oil. Because if the Vata skin type has a lot of spent up skin cells that are layers, and I think we spend about 1 million skin cells, in a day. And so that means that those spent up skin cells, those dead ones, they got to be removed. And so you have to use herbs in different powdered formulas to exfoliate. But sometimes people are really rough on their skin. And what that does is it creates tiny cracks and more fine lines. So the application of the texture of an herb according to your skin type and the motions are very important, and they need to be prescribed for the individual skin type.
That's really beautiful. I'm kind of curious about the emotions. And I know you do emotional karma release as well, and you talk a lot about our emotions and how the stressors are affecting not just us personally, but even through the karmic ways. Like certain things just playing out, but they tend to take a toll on you. So, have you noticed any patterns with any emotions in your skin? Like a certain emotion, like grief, is going to cause a specific thing, or anger can create a specific condition in your skin.
Yeah,
Like it's
absolutely. So let's break that down because we know that the zone of Vata is the forehead. And just watch whenever you are contemplating a lot or thinking a lot or studying. Sometimes when you're young, like a teenager that's studying or student, they'll tend to have a lot of tiny underneath the skin breakouts in this area. And what is that? There's anxiety there. There's a restlessness. And Vata, as we know, is like that little bird that doesn't want to be in a cage. It wants to be flying freely from this branch to the other branch and exploring life and talking about the life experiences, right? And so what happens is when they have to focus or confine their prana, their energy to one pointed consciousness, whether it's an activity or work or study, or problem solving, Vata people tend to have increase of that restlessness and that anxiety. So we notice a lot more in the sides of the temples, bumpy underneath the skin breakouts, but then very deep, strong vertical lines like the worry lines. So that is the emotions of deep-seated phobias and worries and fears that can occur. And it can occur in the Pitta constitution and in the Kapha constitution. We know we are made up of all those 5 great elements. So depending on the predominant dosha, the flaw, the mistake, the waste product that the body is producing, the first sign of it is the skin because it's rasa, the first tissue of the body. So we always take, it's almost like reading your body, reading your health by understanding the health of your skin can tell you a lot about the manifestation of disease. And it can also help you prevent diseases because the skin is almost like the mirror of everything that's going on with you. So one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that when we lose prana or energy, we get very dark, deep circles underneath the eyes. But when there is a drainage of energy, like when someone is, sort of being a vampire and sucking our juice, our energy from us, whether it's our work or a relative or even a sexual partner can do that to you, can leave you drained. You start getting a little bit of purple. And you notice people that overuse their energy, they start getting very deep seated, dark skin discoloration. So, as a nutritionist, you probably see, well, that's a lot of very low iron,
Yeah.
right? And you can see that the person's iron is very low in their diet, and also maybe a zinc deficiency. So we'd have to take a look at the dietary reasons that they're maybe not absorbing their foods and their nutrients, but also that we have to take a look at the energetic situation that they may be in. What's draining them? What's causing them to feel exhaustion? Now, when there's puffiness, where there's water retention, then we see that the person is experiencing a withholding of emotions.
Mhm.
So we know the emotions are very much connected to water, right? And so the water element in our body, Swadhisthana chakra, which is the dwelling place of the soul, the dwelling place of ourselves, where we sort of start to experience the subconscious karmas that are starting to awaken. We in Muladhara chakra we have an understanding of the genetic coding and the roots, our family tribe, the inherited situations that we put ourselves in. But in Swadhisthana, the awakening starts to happen. And what happens is all the unprocessed emotions from the lineage of our family, as well as our life experience, as well as past life experiences, can start to open, and it can be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And when you're a Vata constitution, overwhelm ages you.
Yeah.
When you're a Pitta constitution, overwhelm exhausts you because Pittas want to fix everything.
Yeah.
So they start over purifying. They start doing too many, practices like increasing their yoga, increasing um, their practices, doing too much emotional sort of analysis, and so sometimes that can be very aging as well.
Mhm.
And the kaphagenic person tends to freeze or tends to sort of stagnate, and that can also cause like a little bit of sort of like an aging that's different. See, the kapha person ages the slowest because we have so much adipose tissue, we have so much fat, we have oil, we have water. We're juicy people, so we naturally have that glow, right? But what I notice, how kapha people hold the grief in their body is with this dark line. This line here, it becomes sad. And so you'll notice that the grief manifests mostly in the kapha person by all of a sudden they, poor me, this kind of like sagging of the lip line goes down, and then this line in here starts to really deepen and
I could
increase.
see it in myself.
You see it in you?
Yeah.
So very important. This is where we need the magic of Kansa wand. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. So we have to start using these tools. Or my camera's a little off.
No,
We have
that's
to
I
start
can see you well.
using.
You know what? I actually have your Kansa wand, and I was absolutely loving it. I tried it a few times. I haven't been as consistent, I'll be honest, but something about it really cools especially in the summer heat. The Kansa, like it's such an amazing metal, and it just cools and it just soothes your skin, and suddenly you feel like a different person. I think there is a chipmunk here. Oops.
It's a good omen. A chickmunk is a good omen. So this is good. If
Just
it went across you or touched you, this is nice. Remember, in the whole idea of reading, and you're sitting in nature, so nature wants to talk to you. Nature wants that, and so there's a very quick energy of the chipmunk. It's always trying to um, nurture and nourish itself, and that's a key message today.
yeah,
Is we have to find what's going to nourish us individually and uniquely because of our body mind constitution. So what nurtures one person may not nurture another person.
yeah,
So with emotions, you see, we always have to understand what is it that we are experiencing. What's the predominant emotion in our constitution, in our mind? Because whatever that is, it's going to manifest somewhere.
mhm,
And one thing that I was a makeup artist for many, many years. I've been in the spa industry 35 years. A girl never tells her age. So that's why the skin preserving ingredients in my anti-aging serum, the rejuvenation serum, is the foundation of it is pomegranate.
Mhm.
And the ancient Egyptians, the Arabs, the Persians, the Indians, they know that pomegranate is the fruit of immortality.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you look at different nationalities, you will see that their skin is well preserved because there is a lot of pomegranate paste in their cuisine.
Mhm.
There's a lot of pomegranate juice. There's a lot of ingredients that nourish the skin tissue,
Mhm.
and and also the preparation of certain foods like using copper pots, copper cups, all of that helps to kill the bacteria. And when we start using metals on the face, it also helps. The ancient Chinese used jade,
Yeah.
to roll, right? And jade is also extremely very good for anti-aging. But one of the things that people don't connect jade with, jade is green and
Yeah.
it's connected to Mercury, the planet. What's Mercury? Mercury is our intellect. When
Yeah.
we are intellectually tired and drained, we age.
Mhm.
And in our culture, we are so bombarded by so much information and so much need to read and watch TV and watch news and and play on our computer and play computer games, and our mind is exhausted.
Mhm.
So sometimes for the body type that is easily exhausted, like Vata, using a jade wand is also very good. And Pittas, we know, need to always cool and feel soothed. And so rose quartz
Mhm.
is very cooling and soothing. And one of the secrets of, I was raised by 5 women in my family, and there was a period where I had a copper pyramid as a child that I would sleep under. And in my copper pyramid, it was a very big 6 foot pyramid in my bedroom. I would have big crystals. And in South America, amethyst crystal is natural. It grows everywhere in Uruguay and Brazil. We have the biggest population of it. And so that I would get amethyst crystals from my grandmother or my aunt, and I would put them around because amethyst really helps the Sahasrara chakra and the Ajna chakra to really feel like prana from the universe, from our higher power. So it helps to absorb other people's sort of negative energies in your life, but it helps restore the energy of your mind. So crystals are so important to have around you. And in all sort of more Aboriginal traditions, we know that is that chickmunk bugging you still?
No, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is it another animal for another omen of the day?
No, I
Um,
saw a white butterfly.
huh?
I saw a white butterfly around.
Oh, that's beautiful, right? Right? That's a lovely. Any of those transformations. So purity and transformation with knowledge, and that's why we're talking about know thyself, heal thyself is the concept that I operate out of. So I spend a lot of time, like when you have a Jyotish reading with me. It's not about, for me, it's not about predicting or telling you who you are. It's about showing you what your strengths and weaknesses are so that you can start really paying attention to prescriptions. Because how many times do we go to a Vidya like yourself and you give us beautiful diet plans and beautiful herbs? We don't do it. Or you come to me and have an Ayurveda facial and I give you product and give you Kansa wands to do and you don't do it. And how many times do we take in knowledge but we don't apply knowledge?
Yeah.
And so knowledge is medicine.
Mhm.
And the more you know about yourself, the more you know about life, the more you know about nature, omens, messengers, the more that you will be able to integrate a healing program for yourself. And that's why know thyself, heal thyself is so important to me, because I live by that. And that's how I've been a survivor of many conditions and problems in my body and my health, right? So it's the preservation or the secrets to anti-aging or any kind of health is to understand the reasons why this is happening to you.
Mhm.
And so when I've done so many facials for so many years, and I notice that people are so stressed when they come in with eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, and acne. And there is, and if you're a pitta, you want to fix that problem. And that worry and that intensity actually makes the condition worse.
Yeah.
And so as I'm sure you've spoken to your wonderful students and clients, that avoiding the five acids
Yeah.
is very important. And what I mean is, you go to a restaurant and you're a pitta constitution, you've got acne or rosacea, and what do? You order fish, which is very hot,
Yeah.
with tomato sauce or tomato paste or
Yeah.
some kind of, spicy program going on there. And then you want to have chocolate for dessert and coffee, right? And some kind of liquor, liquid fire to drink. And so these five is like a bomb going off in your skin. And so the next day or 3 days later, usually it takes about 2 days, all of a sudden you start having a flare up.
Yeah.
And so one thing I've always addressed is making sure that the amount of acid that the Pitta constitution takes is low. But I was talking about my journey, in the spa industry as a makeup artist, and seeing, like, the need for color.
Mhm.
And sometimes we don't realize that sometimes when you wear a certain lipstick or a certain color, you need that vibration to come into your body. You see, we are not just the body, we are this electromagnetic energy being, and our aura and gets messages, and we get bombarded with other people's energies. So sometimes when I used to do makeup for brides, I would go to their house like at 5 a.m. in the morning to get them ready, right? And I would start the makeup, and the bride would be locked up in the bathroom, crying, crying, crying. Her sisters would be knocking on the door, saying, "It doesn't look so bad. It doesn't look so bad. Come on out." Because why? All the stress build up
Yeah.
until that day increased the fire, and it went right up, and it gave her a huge pimple on the tip of
Yeah.
her nose. And it's so common, and you see this with many brides, that the morning of their wedding they have a pimple on the side of their nose, on the tip of their nose, or in the center of their forehead.
Mhm.
It's so predictable. So
Mhm.
what I do now is, when I address, brides come to me, for preparation for their big wedding day, I start preparing them 1 month before with emotional release therapy.
Mhm.
Because what happens during a wedding? You've got to deal with family, which triggers you, and you've got a lot of emotions going on. You
Mhm.
have to process other people's emotions around you and witness
Yeah.
other people's needs and emotions. Then you have to deal with your own friends and the disappointment, because you have so much expectations of this poor groom,
Yeah.
that you want him to do this and do this and do that. And he's like, "When's my bachelor party?" He's not thinking about the details of the wedding and the perfect little flowers and the bouquets and, all those details.
Yeah.
And so it frustrates the bride. She gets angry with her partner many times before the wedding. There's a little bit of a fight, a breakup, there's a family crisis. So what I tend to do is address all that with the bride, and have her do some of that karma emotional
Mhm.
release therapy, so that we can prevent emotions from manifesting on the face the morning of. And it always starts with teaching them how to do skincare routines, but also how to do emotional release on a daily basis.
See, and that is something extremely important, not just for the brides, but there are so many things, on social media that can be really triggering for someone, because we are so exposed to the outside world. We are so connected with everything outside of us, but not within us, right? And that's the sad reality of today. Like, we're super connected with somebody who stays in Australia, or, we're so invested. Like, I'm personally invested in a lot with what happens in India, because it's still my motherland, right? But sometimes,
Yes.
events can frustrate you, they can trigger you, and that only happens because you haven't released your own emotions, you know. So if something happened 10 years ago that I've stored, and suddenly something's happening now which reminds me of that incident, whether it doesn't remind me consciously, I still react, you know. And that's what I'm seeing on Facebook, you know, nasty comments everywhere, people trying to, you know, just be mean for no reason. And a lot of people, I think they need this emotional release, you know, on a daily basis, not just for the wedding, but as a practice in life itself, right? So
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what causes that is fear of the future,
yeah.
fear and uncertainty.
Hmm.
So we know that. Well, how does a vata respond to fear? They fly away, they escape,
Yeah.
right? And they tend to be the ones that are inquisitive. They're the ones that are asking all the questions. And
Yeah.
then who has all the solutions? The pittas,
Yeah.
right? They're there to protect, and they have researched and they've investigated, and they're going to fight, and they're the protesters, and they're the ones that have the strength. So then what happens is they tend to start voicing these opinions, and the vatas are so easy to be impressionable, right?
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah, I believe in that philosophy,
Yeah.
I believe in that, and then they're the voice.
Yeah.
They start to talk, they're the communicators. What
Yeah.
does a bird do all day? It chirps, 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 it communicates. So they're the best writers, they're the best communicators, they do drama, they do dances, they do expression, they do art. So now the fear message is being, brought out.
Yeah.
And so and what do the kappas do? Nothing,
They
right? They sit
absorb
there,
everything and
they
stuff it.
absorb it all, and they worry, and they eat. Oh my god, we're gonna die, you know. They eat, and they don't do anything. They just say, oh, it's okay, don't believe anything, forget it, I'm not gonna wear a mask, forget it, I'm not even gonna go outside.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to deal with the world. I'm going to stay isolated and stay stagnant to
Yeah.
be safe, right? So
Yeah.
everything is about fear. And where is fear going to manifest on the face? Aging,
Yeah.
lines,
Hmm.
skin problems,
Yeah.
hair loss,
Yeah.
early gray,
Hmm.
diseases. Everything is going to have inflammation, infection, all kinds of pains and aches, disturbances. Our sleep patterns are going to be disturbed, right? Because we don't have a routine. And what vatas benefit from is a routine. And
Yeah.
then people become over obsessed with the routine
Yeah.
so that they don't feel that they've wasted time that day. So
Yeah.
they're actually working harder.
Yeah.
They work harder, they work longer because they're trying to compensate.
Yeah.
And then kaphas are doing less, more stagnation, more inertia,
Yeah.
right? More dullness,
Yeah.
and more of that type of grudge, because
Yeah.
you'll notice that the kaphas are the ones that support,
Yeah.
the certain conspiracy theories, or the certain, stand behind the government. What are, and they're the ones that are saying, people wake up, you're stupid, think like this. They hold the grudges, they carry the heaviness of the negative emotion, right? Because what does kapha do? Absorbs like a sponge, and then holds the
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And I'm talking all the negative parts, because when we're positive, we're young,
Yeah.
we don't have problems in the skin, in the hair, in
Yeah.
the disease. It's only the negative
Yeah.
thinking and the negative emotions that start to manifest and start the aging process.
So I'm going to take a few questions. So we have a Facebook user who's asking about Chinese food or MSG in food, and how does it affect our skin? So,
Well, MS, you're the expert in food. So, what's your first reaction when that question came up?
so
As
a
an
lot of
Ayurvedic.
people are actually allergic to it, right? And it's also something that is an addictive. So it is definitely not natural. You know, MSG is not found in the natural state in foods, and it's not a part of nutrition. So definitely anything that you can eat but cannot process is going to stay generate a lot of ama in your body, and it's going to create a lot of blockages. Most people who are sensitive to MSG also have diarrhea, or they start getting instant symptoms, right? So ideally, like avoiding any kind of preservatives in food, even, I've been talking about sugar. So sugar is one of the worst things, we can actually put in our bodies. So I would avoid anything, because any preservatives, any unnatural chemicals that your body doesn't need, everything shows up on your skin, because skin is a status of your health, right? Overall health. Then again, Pradeep was asking if there's something we have to eat, to eat help with the anti-aging routine, right? If there's something we can eat. So
Pomegranates.
pomegranates, yeah, that's what I meant.
Pomegranates, avocado. If you're a vata, avocado, right? Increase your nuts, your healthy fats. Ghee. If you're a vegan, then go for the coconut milk. And but definitely, like Manjari was saying, nothing processed, because one of the day I one thing I learned, I'm a Latin woman. We grew up in Latin culture. Everything is sugar, everything is white flour, everything is milk, and
Hmm.
the three Snow Whites, I call them, right? And so all most Latin people have a lot of medical conditions that are all very similar. And so one of the things that I learned as I started to study Ayurveda and apply this knowledge was to avoid anything that had a white powder.
Hmm.
So I never took anything, like for example, coffee mix, like Coffee Mate or
Yeah,
those creamers. I
yeah,
started to avoid those. The white sugar, anything, MSG, the white powder, anything that has this white chemical powder. It's like a white, powder that you're adding to food or preserving in food. If you start eliminating that, that's going to help. What it's going to do is it's not going to take away from the elasticity in the skin.
hmm,
So we start realizing that chemicals, petrochemicals that we use externally or internally, they start to rob us of the tone of the muscles,
yeah,
and so the elasticity and the collagen starts to break down.
yeah,
And so foods that have that, and that's what Vaidya Manjari is an expert in, where she can really assess the proper nutrition that you as an individual constitution needs. So it's not a general thing, it's got to be customized, and that's the beauty of Ayurveda.
yeah,
Is life, and Veda is the knowledge. But what does this mean? It means you need to know
yeah,
the knowledge to help you live,
yeah,
and your lifestyle and the way you live is going to be uniquely yours.
yeah,
It's going to be similar to other dosha types that are the same, or prakritis that are the same, but there is something very important about understanding your constitutional position,
yeah,
and from Jyotish, the Vedic astrology, the light upon the planets that shine upon us at the time of our birth, your cosmic anatomy.
yeah,
Because sometimes, I look at a chart and I see the sun planet, and we know if we stay in the sun for too long, it burns. But what about when it's transiting the second house of the face? I always notice that when that happens, a person has for 6 to 7 years an increase in skin rashes, acne, so many problems with hair loss, because it's going to increase pitta,
hmm,
and it's going to increase it in that area of the 12 houses of the zodiac.
hmm,
So sometimes if it's in the fifth house, it's going to affect the stomach, right? Sometimes, once I saw in the 12th house, it affected somebody's eyes
hmm,
and feet at the same time. And so there's always a connection between our eyesight and the health of our feet and our eyesight. And we know that Pitta constitution always suffers from eyesight, because the element of fire is connected to the sense of sight. And so
yeah,
sometimes a Pitta's digestion and hormonal challenges causes an imbalance in their eyesight, but you'll also notice that they have sore feet, or they have fungus in their feet, or they have some feet problems,
yeah.
right? Everything is so connected.
Yeah, so I would love just one point, because I am a combination of Pitta Kapha, right? And they're pretty much equal, so it's hard. Like my body is pretty much kapha, but mentally and like nature wise, I'm so much of like a martial or so much of a pitta person, right? And one of the things, as you said, my eyes get really sore because I'm on social media or work wise, I work on the laptop 24/7, right? And then you're taking this artificial agni in, which is impacting your eyes. So one thing I'm also doing is I'm taking, uh, like the Kansa wand. I have those bronze wands that I've bought from India, and I just massage my feet with oil, and I'll take this and I'll rub it in, and it just calms you down, right? So
Wow,
it's just
beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah, it's really amazing how it grounds you and really calms you. And that brings me to your routine. I would love to know your secrets, and I have used Andrea's products, right? And this is not an affiliate, like, but this is something I truly believe in. I have had a few massages with you. I've used your products. I absolutely love it. And I love it for the fact that even your serum, it just calms you down. It's not something that soothes your skin, but it's something about it is just like it grounds you. The fragrance is also very soothing to your soul, and it calms your mind and it just calms your senses. So what's your routine like? What's your skincare routine or anti-aging routine like?
Well, let me demonstrate. And if you guys have a Kansa wand or a jade wand or a rose quartz, join me. If not, use your fingers, okay, so that you learn the routine with me
I have
because
no
it's
idea test. I'm just going to use my finger.
no, that's okay. That's okay. So we have the Kansa wand. So the first thing is select an anti-aging serum that works for you. Okay, I of course I'm going to promote my own product line, but what I'm promoting and educating you on is the combination of herbs.
Yeah,
See, Gotu kola is centella.
yeah,
It doesn't just work on the skin; it can create irritation,
yeah,
but it's mixed with pomegranate oil, jojoba oil, evening primrose oil, borage oil. It has rose absolutes. If
yeah,
it has rose geranias, helichrysums,
yeah,
different types of flowers
yeah.
that are going to preserve the skin. So you pick an oil that you know is for your skin type and that it is going to help the skin with the anti-aging. That's for the Vata types, and sometimes the Pittas need a little bit of serum in the evening after they've been in the sunlight and exposed to the sunlight for hours. See, what a lot of people do is they put a serum on um, during the day. And
Mhm.
that's okay in the winter and fall for the Vata constitution and even for the other doshas. But in the summer, even for all the constitutions, it's best to put your sunblock on and then go out and then come home and do your whole skincare routine in the afternoon or evening because then your skin has the time to exfoliate all the dead skin cells with your udans, your Ayurvedic powders,
Yeah,
which are made usually from like chickpea flour, urad flour, lentil flour, and sometimes oats, and then different layers of herbs according to your skin type. So for the pitta, we use lots of red sandalwood powder. We use clay to get rid of the acne and the oil. And then we also use shatavari. Some
yeah,
people pronounce it shatavari, wild asparagus root powder, which helps balance the hormones, and mangista. So
yeah,
all of these herbs, they have to be balanced in proportions. It just can't, you can't just buy a whole bunch of herbs and mix it together and then put it on your face. You're going to create irritation. So that's why herbs have to be prescribed properly too. So for the pitta, sometimes I recommend that you spray your face with some hydration
mhm,
instead of oil in the summertime. And then once you have done your routine, then you start your anti-aging. So I'm going to do 2 rounds. We're going to do if your skin is vata kapha, you need hydration. So you would spray your space. You can use rose hydrosol. You can use my liquid nectar, which is a combination of very strong anti-aging essential oils as well as different. And you want to wet your face. The face has to be wet.
mhm,
And you would do the Kansa wand if you were just picked up, just use the water
mhm.
and keep dipping the water the kansa into rose water, okay, or your liquid nectar to keep the movements flowing. So if you're vata and kapha, you want to spray first and then apply your serum. Because what happens is the vata and sometimes kapha can get very dehydrated and they overuse oil and then they tend to break out. So you want to use the oil that has the Ayurvedic herbs. And for me, Brahmi is the most important herb to calm the mind.
Yeah.
So I always smell the roses, inhale, use your prana, use your pranayama before you start your massages. You want to invite prana, the divine mother that lives inside of you, to work for you, to begin the nourishment. And you want to do that through the vehicle of scent. So roses calms anxieties, roses preserves the skin, roses cools the pitta, and then jasmines give energy, vitality. They're both aphrodisiacs. So there's a beautiful picture of Radha Krishna right above me, right? Prakriti Purusha, all of the beautiful union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And it starts in the threshold of the riverbanks of your skin. So Radha Krishna were always known to run to the Yamuna river at night when the jasmine flower blossoms and all the aphrodisiac herbs and the pun that they use to eat and everything, all the aphrodisiacs around them and the scent was all to entice the senses towards rejuvenation. So that means that internally, the union between Ida, Pingala, Shakti, Shiva to give us the energy to go upward, to release the nectar of immortality that's within us, needs vehicles of scent and touch, the experience of love. And what's the threshold? The skin, because right underneath the skin is a riverbank, the river of prana, the river of water, the river of blood. So you want to feed the skin tissue with that manifestation of divine mother in her liquid form of oils, plants, flowers, stems, fruits, all of those things. So if you notice what I did, I sprayed my face and then I patted my serum. And now my serum is going to distribute nicely because my skin is wet. I continue to wet my skin. So in a spray form, you can wet your fingertips and keep your face very wet, very moist. Because Kansa wand and the neck, of course, always. And you want it for girls, you got to go all the way down because this is where we age, okay? And my grandmother, my great grandmother, and my grandmother used to say, know a woman's age by her hands and her neck.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep dipping. And sometimes I like to use the palm of my hand. So I have rose water or my liquid nectar into my palm. And I want to first feel the metals, the copper. So Kansa is a combination of copper and brass sometimes or tin. So you want to try to get the highest quality Kansa that has the most copper in it. What does copper do? It's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, anti-yeast. So what it does for the skin is it helps to prevent those breakups. The metal is cooling, so it's going to cool the skin so the heat and the redness gets toned down. And it also helps increase circulation and blood flow. So, but one of the most beautiful things is all of that calms and cools. So you place the wand in the center of your forehead first and you breathe, you do your pranayama. It's very important to deeply breathe and to deeply know that a ceremony is about to take place. And then you're going to start very slow and round circles, very slow and round, and you will start to feel the coolness of those copper wands and you're going to start to feel relaxed. And that's the idea. So take your fingers if you don't have a wand and start circulating gently and slowly, small circles. Now, the circles is a big marma. So the first marma is Ajna chakra and Soma chakra. So you want to start thinking about when you press in, you want to hold, you want to rotate clockwise for grounding. So if you're a Vata constitution and you need to ground your mind and ground your emotions, you want to do clockwise circles. If you are a Pitta constitution, that needs grounding and stimulation, you want to do clockwise, three slow clockwise motions, and then anti-clockwise, three round, large, slow counterclockwise motions. And I like to do a set of threes. So I do that. And then if you're a kapha, you need everything anti-clockwise because it stimulates and it increases circulation. So if you're finding your skin's very dull and it needs life, you want it, and it's also very congested, you want to do everything anti-clockwise. Okay, so once you do the center of the forehead, you start off with round, large circles and then smaller circles right into the center of the forehead. It's kind of hard. And you want to pause. Pausing with breath work is very important. Once you finish that, you want to go across the forehead, back and forth. Think of it as you're ironing a beautiful silk blouse. Okay, so you have to be very delicate with your skin because if you move the skin too much, it can increase wrinkles. So you want to smoothly do it with more pressure moving outward because it helps to move and push away the toxins and the dead skin cells and increases the stagnant energy as well as the blood down towards the lymph. Okay, so that's what we're eventually doing. And you want to go back and forth. When you see wrinkles in the forehead, you want to go up and down. Okay, and then what I start to do is I start to iron. You know, when you have very deep creases in your bed sheets that you're ironing, my grandmother irons her bed sheets or used to, and so we learn iron your bed sheets if you get a good night's sleep. So you go back and forth. Okay, now around the eyes, you want to pause at this marma here, which is in the bruhu marma area. So you want to pause under, but you see when I pause, if I lift, I create a line.
Mhm.
You don't want to do that. You want to pause right on top, and you want to follow the brow line to the end of the brow and pause. And then you do that 3 times. And you do one side at a time because you want to see the difference. So you'll start to see the difference when I start draining all the lines above the eyebrow, all the lines under the eyebrow, right down. And again, you want to keep your wand moist. If you need to add more oil, add more oil. I like to add oil and water, okay, because it creates a nice slip. So you do 3 times, and then you go around the eyes 3 times, outward, because you want to drain all the congestion. And also, what happens a lot of times is that we have a lot of water retention under the eyes, causing bags. And so this is great to drain that. The sinuses also, what happens with the sinuses is they get congested. So you want to drain this marma right here, which is connected to the sinus cavity. So for people that suffer from sinuses and congestion, runny nose, this is a very important thing to just drain out. And when you drain, you want to drain out and then down. Okay, always out and then down. Okay, now we want to lift the zygomatic major and minor, the cheekbone. So you want to go under the cheekbone and lift, under the cheekbone and lift. This is still draining that sinus because you'll notice that, yes, you get baggy eyes and then puffiness, but infection can also breed and people get soreness in their cheekbone because of a lot of infections in the sinuses. So you're going to lift, and this is muscle toning. This is like a non-surgical facelift that you're giving yourself. And you'll notice that you do one side of the face at once, you'll start to see that the muscle tone and the circulation increases the muscle tone, and it firms and tones the collagen and elasticity. So you do that. I like to do it about 10 times, and then, sorry, this way. And then I drain down into the lymph. And I do that 3 times all the way down the sides. And now you want to go under the cheekbone and into the ear, because under the cheekbone and into the ear, this is the kapha zone. So there's a lot of toxins that and water that gets retained in here. And so what happens is you want to thin out your face. So a lot of kapha people have a very round face or a square jaw, square face. So this gives definition. And vatas tend to have an oval shaped face and no definition. It's the pittas that have the perfect heart shaped face with a nice jawline and the definition of the cheekbones, high cheekbones. So you want to drain into the ear and then again down. And now you want to go into that line that we said is where we hold that all that emotion, and you want to go up and down. You want to iron that up and down 5 to 10 times and then across. So you want to get almost like you're ironing out. And I like to do it like this. Now you want to go from the chin. Again, start with your nice circles, counterclockwise for detoxification, clockwise for grounding, and a combination of both for a little bit of both. And now you want to start. Sorry, sorry, it's like, oh my God.
I can see you perfectly.
Yeah, you can see me? Okay, so you want to lift from the chin up. And I like to shake, give a little shake. So it's like you're really shaking and lifting that muscle. And I don't know if you can see any difference from one side to the other, but you want to really shake and lift. And then you want to sort of get rid of that double chin. So you want to go down and you want to drain underneath. And then you want to go across the jaw line. And people hold so much tension in their jaw, okay? We hold so much tightness in the chin. Anger gets stored there, our intense emotions. So you start to see, oh my God. And sometimes when you feel a lot of pain in the TMJ, just do nice round circles. And this whole area here will start to really release. And you'll start to feel in your mouth the saliva moving. And it actually helps to increase the ability to chew your food properly. Because what time our jaw gets so tired that we don't want to chew our food properly. And so and of course, you know that if we have undigested food, it causes indigestion.
Yeah.
So the key to good metabolism is to chew your food. But if your muscles of your face and your jawbone is tired, you won't be doing that very well. So then you want to relax that and drain down the neck first, and then you want to lift upwards so that you're giving a little bit of a chin lift. Okay. And so now you want to repeat from that same on that same side. Sorry, the same side. And then around the eyes 3 times, a little faster this time, because now you've got the rhythm in. Now you're really just cleansing and detoxifying. Can you see how pink my skin is getting? I
Yeah.
don't know if you
Yeah.
can. And can you see any difference in the lifting? Now, I only have eye makeup on and lipstick, so I don't have any face makeup on, no foundations, no powders. So sometimes you won't need it because your skin is glowing.
Yeah.
And so you'll start to see a difference between one side and the other. When I do the other side, I start again. I add a little bit more water or more oil. I dip my kansa and I begin in the center of my forehead. I start taking 3 deep breaths. And when I start my clockwise circles for grounding, I let myself feel the coolness of the kansa wand, the smoothness of the coolness of the copper, and I start to allow myself to visualize the color of the Ajna chakra, that indigo blue, and then into the middle of the forehead is another energy center called Soma. And then I love that story of the journey of the ocean, where there is a quest to attain the fountain of youth or the nectar of immortality, and you start to really start thinking about those stories, what they mean, and then start to think about what is the predominant emotion in your body, in your mind, in your heart, and give yourself some time to process that emotion. And then on my website, you'll see that there's 2 free guided meditations. It's really good to do some visualizations or be guided through an emotional release process. And I like to do that when I'm doing my kansa it helps me process and digest my emotions. And or sometimes I record some of my Jyotish readings so that people can study and learn their chart. And so you can play that, for example, and just learn and just give yourself some time and some momentum to just process. And then when you do your brow, you're getting rid of all that those thoughts, those undigested thoughts. Okay, these are the bruhu marmas that really help to stimulate the liver, where we hold our anger, the spleen, where we hold our fears of the future. Okay, and all the way down into the kidney area underneath and the adrenals. And so we know that this is where we hold a lot of guilt and regrets, and our sexual energy as well, and the guilty regret of how we're using our energy. Okay, so we start doing that other side. Okay, so we do the same routine, and then remember down the nose. There's a lot of times it's good to really massage that nose and the sides of the nose, and then again draining that sinus all the way up into the zygomatic minor, goes all the way up into the temple. But take time at the temples. A lot of people get headaches, and so if you're a pitta person that suffers from headaches, what I love to do is I dip 1 drop of peppermint oil, and I do my whole head with the kansa. You know, I have a beautiful pitta formula, which is already blended with lavender, sandalwood, peppermint. So the pitta body, mind, and body scalp formula really helps with headaches. And so I always recommend that for my clients that have repetitive headaches. And so then you want to start lifting underneath the cheekbone, and you want to drain that energy out, okay, and then down into the lymph. Okay, always remember to really bring the movements down into the lymph. Now, if you're very congested, you go into the axilla. Okay, so you can go all the way across the chest. And I always find going across the chest is very good for people who have anxieties and restlessness. And I'm going to finish this side going down, and then across the mouth. We have a lot of lines, old people, smokers, people that frown. You want to go across, and again, ironing. You're ironing those lines out, okay? People that have a lot of cold sores, you can, don't go over the cold sore, okay? Put a clay mask on the cold sore so you avoid it, or put an ointment on the cold sore so you avoid spreading. Okay, that's important. And then this line, the grief line, as we call it, you want to iron out your grief line, and then do nice lifting. Okay, and then you want to go across again the jawline and start lifting up to get that non-surgical face lifting effect, and then again drain down the neck all the way back, and then up the neck. And then I like to do that type of tapping. Now, the other thing that I like to do is do this. So tapping, you can do it with your hand, it's easier. And then tighten. And this is when you can do your whole yoga, face yoga routine. Tighten and release. Tighten and release. Tighten and release. Okay, so then you get some formation in this area. Okay. I like to end every time I do kansa, I always include an emotional release treatment, and then you have to cleanse your skin, because don't feel shy or don't freak out if your face is turning gray or green, because it oxidates copper and oil or copper and water, and so you must wash your face after you do kansa. Okay, so we have to really clean our skin, and then you repeat. You do your spray, your serum, and then end with the renewal cream. And the renewal cream, I made it as a triple performance product so that you have an eye cream, a day cream, and a night cream. Because the cosmetic industry, they rob you. They sell you 3 products. You don't need that. You need a good serum and a good cream. Now, what I'd like to end with is the tapping out of the emotion. So you always have to, and you can Google tapping techniques. They're very easy. But always remember, what is the predominant emotion that you're trying to get rid of in your face, right? So let's say it's sadness. Let's say it's anger. Let's say it's anxiety. So you have to identify it. So the first step is you take the top of your head, which is your this marma here, the top of the head, and so you start tapping and you say, this sadness that is manifesting in these dark lines or in under my eyes, or this anger that's in the tip of my nose, this frustration, whatever it is, and wherever it's manifesting, you say it out loud. Even though I have this feeling, I still fully love and accept myself. The second point is right above Wuhu Marma. This anger, this sadness, whatever is the predominant emotion you stated, that is manifesting under my eyes or in my chin, that is breaking my skin, that is making me age, even though I have this and it is affecting me and I feel insecure and I feel lack of confidence, I still fully love and accept myself. The next one is underneath the eyes, and you repeat again, this emotion that makes me drained, that makes me look old, that makes me age, that makes me feel blah blah blah, whatever it is. Even though I feel this, even though my face is manifesting this, I still fully love and accept myself. Now above the upper lip, and you would say it again, this anger, this sadness, this emotion, I choose to let it go. I let go. And as I'm letting go, I fully love and accept myself. On the chin, I fully love and accept myself. In this reflex here and the whole chest bone. And we don't realize how much tension we have. And just by tapping and breathing, we release a tremendous amount. And then we have to drain all that energy out underneath the armpit, right in the axilla, and then underneath the armpit, and drain it all out. And we tapping all that out really helps to release a lot of tension and stress. And then you close your eyes, you meditate, and that's when you start your bath ritual. You start your Dina Acharya, you start oiling your whole body, you cast the bath, you release all that energy. You do your updans, your herbal powders to exfoliate, you cleanse your skin, you wash, even always wash your whole body and your face, because washing and bathing takes away layers and layers of other people's energies.
Yeah.
And you also, at the end of your bath, it's always important that you end with cleansing your aura. So I always use Kashmiri rose dupe sticks, and I burn them, and they're crushed roses, because remember, roses help very much
Yeah.
to calm and ground. So it's, you can use frankincense, you can use sage, but fire, invite. You've been cleansing with earth elements. You've been using water, and you've been doing air, the movements, and you've been in your own akashic records, your own akash. Now you need the fire to cleanse away. And so always start at the top of your head cleansing. Cleanse the smoke. Let the smoke cleanse your face. Let the smoke cleanse over each of the chakras. Cleanse the whole energy of your body. Do your whole body. And really cleanse. And as you're cleansing, you're throwing all those emotions into that fire pit. And then always end with spraying. And I always make, my rituals of scent are prashadam for one of the chakras. And what they do is it just invoke. So you can do it with anything. Set your intention, invoke, spray your energy field, and then concentrate on the area of your body and or that chakra that is going to help balance that dosha. I hope that's been helpful for you guys
That's
today.
beautiful.
Looks like I'm smoking a cigarette after that. Oh, exhausting bath. Not, this is a roast beef.
That's so beautiful. So we have a few questions. So Pradeep has a question about astrology, but Pradeep, she cannot give any personalized recommendation without knowing your chart. I have posted the links to her website, so please, get connected with her. You can book a one-on-one consultation. I have always sought her, I've had multiple, Jyotish consultations with her, and she's always helped me. Not like just to tell me what's going on, but really help me get in touch with myself and find the solution. So highly recommended. Please do get in touch with her. There's a question where a Facebook user says that she's thinking that oil and water should not be mixed.
Say that again.
Oil and water should not be mixed is what she thought. So you were saying that spray and then you can put some oil, right? So she was wondering if you can mix oil and water.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
Yes, absolutely. And why? Because water gives a drink to the skin, and water is much different molecule structure, and
yeah,
it enters the skin, and then the oil will follow suit. You
yeah,
see, and then it will help to keep layers of hydration. And sometimes people over cream, put too much cream or too much oil on their
yeah,
face, and then their skin tends to break out. So
yeah.
what the water will do is it helps even out.
Okay.
Sometimes I mix the liquid nectar and distribute my cream, make it more watery, and make my serum more watery so it distributes evenly. Because sometimes we put cream and we go like this, and
Yeah,
then that's the area we tend to break out.
yeah.
So,
That's perfect. So there's another question where she said, "Can we massage with ghee or honey?"
of
As per
course,
Masruti, he asked,
absolutely, if your
are
skin,
fantastic.
yeah, so if you have a dry vata constitution, massaging your face with ghee is good, but honey, I don't recommend that you massage it with honey. I recommend you apply the honey, leave it,
Okay,
and rinse it off because honey makes the skin, it stretches the face. It
okay,
stretches the skin, and that causes wrinkles.
okay,
So, but the honey itself is very good. It's got bacteria, it preserves the skin, especially the good honey, Manaluka, whatever it's called. What's it called? That good honey, the Manuka?
Manuk, Manuka honey, yeah,
Manuka
Manuka,
honey. That's the best
yeah,
one to use on the face.
oh,
Always best quality. And
yeah,
if you can have your own bees and they can make the honey fresh for you, use that one.
yeah, yeah. No, I have lots of Manuka honey. It's way pricier than regular honey, but works amazing.
It works
So,
amazing.
so I have. Okay, I'm also posting your links for. We are at the end of the session. We have covered all the questions as well. Thank you so much, Andrea.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Pleasure.
letting me
It's
share
an
this with
honor.
my passion. And yeah, and I'm offering anyone who is on here, if you send me through an email your time of birth, date of birth, and place of birth, I will offer you. If you have those three things, I can't do it if you don't have your time. So start researching what time you were born, baby records, hospital records, ask parents. And then if you send me a quick email with the date, the time, and the place, country, and city, I will send you a complimentary position of your moon. So all I'm sending you is where is your moon star, what place is your moon, and just a little sentence about an insight because we want to understand where your moon is to
Yeah,
give you an understanding of your emotional mind,
yeah.
and that's going to help you understand how you process stress. And when you know that, then you will be able to align all of your self-care rituals to help you digest the stress better.
Okay. So, Andrea, I'm going to look for, I know you have made a post somewhere, so I'm going to look for that and also put your email address right at the end of the video so people can access it easily. So, thank you once again, for those people that have been waiting, for if you're going through a lot of emotions or if you're trying everything and nothing seems to work, like get in touch with Andrea, book a consultation. I'm sure she can help you because she's helped me a lot of times
Thank
in my
you.
own journey through some
Yeah,
really stressful situations. So it's always a pleasure to work with you. And thank you once
thank you.
again.
And for those people that can't do that, please feel free to sign up for the newsletter and then download a free guided meditation and start doing it for yourself.
Yeah,
Just supply whatever you have in your fridge. Use chickpea flour if you can't
yeah,
afford a cleanser. Use food oil that you eat if you can't afford a serum. So it's not about, it's the education,
yeah.
not the sales. And it's all about giving you the proper education so that you could start a self-care ritual.
And it's
And
all,
on that note,
yeah,
sending you
when you
blessings.
take care of yourself, you feel more empowered. The very
Yeah.
act itself helps, create a transformation. So thank you once again. And thank you all our listeners. And thank you all for being here. We had a lot of people tune in live. We have at least had 15 people so far. And now there are still 9 people online. So, which is
That
fantastic.
sounds
I'm
good.
sure a lot of people will be tuning in later as well. Thank you once again. Again, it's
Thank
always a
you.
pleasure.
Okay, take care, everyone. Many blessings.